Hello, my name is Gregory Belcher, and this is the Anza Sports Show. I have here the head baseball coach of Anza, Eric Reich. Thank you for coming.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
We'll be discussing Eric's career throughout baseball, and so how did you get started with baseball?
Coaching, I grew up on a ball field. My dad was the pitching coach at Santa Clara University back in the early 80s, and I was a bat boy there, and then moved on to doing chart duty for some of his pitchers, and just kind of like a gearhead in race car growing up, grow up on that circuit. I just grew up on a ball field. That's just pretty much what I know the best.
Okay, so what advice would you have for someone growing up who would be try to be a professional ball player?
Number one is you gotta love the game. There's a lot of ups and downs throughout being, a ball player. It's a failure-oriented sport. It only gets harder as you get older. The love for the game is what gets you through those times. And I think the number one thing is when people tell you, well, what else are you going to do besides baseball? You obviously got a plan for that, but you really got to say, hey, I'm making a run at this and I'm going to do it.
See. How would a baseball prospect actually make the cut of a baseball team? Like, what training would they have to go through?
For what level?
For college level.
College level? Well, you got to be, obviously one of the better players in your area as a high school player. Obviously the junior college level, it's not quite as high as maybe the Division I level, but, obviously you have to have a skill set that, a coach identifies that they believe that they can work with to help to develop. And, number two is actually, always like I talk about is academics. I mean, if you are not taking care of business in the classroom, there's really not a lot that we can do. But, it's a skill set, it's a desire, and then obviously continue to progress as a player. So
what were some of your ups and downs with baseball?
Oh man, ups and downs. Let's see, tore my shoulder my junior year of high school and lost an opportunity to go play at a four-year school, so I ended up going the junior college route from there. Played at a very high level junior college in West Valley College back in the early 2000s when they were a powerhouse. Had to kind of work my way up the ladder from the bottom to the top there. Never really got an easy path for anything. So for me as a coach and as a player, I was able to kind of relate to the guys that have been at the bottom, the middle, and the top, because I was able to be in all three of those roles. It's never an easy path like we talk about. Every player goes through some kind of trials and tribulations as they get going in their career, but you're always going to have some injuries, you're going to have some hurdles you have to get over. Some personal things happen and with my family that drew me out of not being able to continue to play baseball, but the real blessing in disguise of it was that it helped me find my passion for coaching.
Oh, I see. So how could a baseball player impress scouts?
I mean, there's a multitude of ways. I mean, one is you have to have one really unbelievable skill, whether it's a cannon for an arm, a big time power bat, or you run ridiculously fast. Sometimes scouts miss the boat on guys, and in reality it just comes down to real simple: being better every year that you play the game. We had a guy in 2000 that graduated with us that was not the big name guy in the area, but he was the first guy to make it the big leagues, and that was Kevin Franzen. And he didn't have one standout tool, but he was just a tremendous ball player, and nothing substitutes that when you keep going into the game.
So have you ever coached a player that eventually went into the pros?
Yes, I coached Jock Peterson at Pi0t High School my first year, and he's with the Dodgers right now, and he just got selected to the All-Star team, so real happy for him. I got an opportunity to coach Bryce Harper for about 3 weeks on our summer team back about 7 years ago, back before he was the big name Bryce Harper. So had a few. Obviously.
Yeah, I think I saw Bryce Harper in the Gatorade commercial.
That was it, yeah. I coached him before he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated and everybody knew who he was, but I remember I remember telling guys, hey, there's an 8th grader out in Las Vegas that's pretty unbelievable. And he came out and played a little bit for us in a couple tournaments out here. And, you could just tell he was a man among boys.
Let's see. What was your greatest moment in sports?
Whew. My gosh, that's a tough question. There's a few. I mean, one is I went to Los Gatos High School growing up. I grew up in that town. Myself and 2 other buddies of mine, kind of looked around and said, I don't know if we can stay here if we want to continue to play college baseball or professional baseball, and that was our goal. And we all kind of said, me and one of my other good buddies said, we're going to leave and we're going to go to a rival school. And we left and we went to Saratoga and got a lot of flack for it. You leave your friends, guys, that you grow up with, and you go to your rival school, and ended up winning a CCS championship there. It was the first one in school history. It was never really a baseball school, and it was kind of us giving an opportunity to help turn a program around. I would say, as coaching wise, probably winning the CCS Division I title back in 2011. Pi0t, they hadn't won one either there. Anytime you have championship seasons like that, they stick out to you. But I've been very fortunate. I mean, there's a lot of things that stick on my head baseball memory-wise, but from a standpoint of, adversity, long-term achievements, things like that, I would say that those 2 stick out the most.
I see. So what can a person learn from being committed to a certain sport?
Life's about commitment. If you're going to do something, you've got to do it wholeheartedly with everything you've got. The thing I love about baseball is that, it's a testament to what life really is. When you talk about, baseball, you can do everything wrong and it can still work out, and you can do everything right and it not work out. But over a span of time, over life, if you do the right things consistently, you're still going to have a lot of success. So you can always get lucky once or twice, but you can't get lucky for a season, or you can't get lucky for a lifetime. A lot of the things that come with it is, you fail a lot more in baseball than you succeed. And you learn about life of saying we're all going to make mistakes. If we can take that mistake and say, all right, we learn from that and move it to the next thing, you're growing as a player and you're growing as a person.
Yeah, I guess that you can kind of relate that to life, because you gotta pick yourself up when you're down, say a failure or something like that. So, do you have any other interesting stories?
Let's see. What's a couple good interesting stories? Got a pretty good one about Jock. So my first year at Pi0t, I got an opportunity to coach Jock. I knew coming in there, he was a pretty special athlete, and we were trying to get him to pitch, and he was coming off some arm issues. And I was trying to say, come on, man, maybe you can just close a little bit. We're going to be really, really good if you can do that. And he was kind of wavering on it. And we had a rainy day, and I said, okay, you know what? I'll make you a deal. I'm going to play you in one-on-one, because he was a very good basketball player too. And I go, if I beat you, you have to pitch. But if you beat me, you get to make the lineup tomorrow in the inner squad. And
How do you play one-on-one in baseball?
One-on-one basketball, sorry.
Oh.
we were in the gym for conditioning because it was raining that day, so we went and played one-on-one. And we're having a knock him down, drag him out game. I mean, I'm sweating. I think I'm up maybe 9-8 or something like that. We're playing to 11, and then he ties it up. And then to finish the game off, he takes the ball, throws off the backboard, and slams it down. And I go, I can't defend that. But it was still one of the stories that sticks out, at the end of it. And Jock ended up coming in, kind of the tail end of the story is he ended up starting to throw a little bit for us. And it was like 1 out to go in the game, and was starting to get a little closer. And he goes, Coach, I got it. You sure? Yeah, I got it. Comes in, throws 3 balls right by the guy, and the umpire goes, man, Eric, you should use that guy a lot more. I go, you think? So that's probably my good story, with Jock and things like that. My first year getting to coach there.
That's a nice story. So do you are you from here or?
Mm-hmm. I grew up in South Bay. I was born at Kaiser Hospital over in Santa Teresa. Bounced around. My parents got divorced when I was 1, but I bounced around kind of all over the area. But yeah, born and raised in South Bay.
I see. And what college did you go to?
Went to West Valley College and then San Jose State.
Oh, okay. Did you have any interesting stories about San Jose State or?
No,
No.
nothing
You
there.
played baseball for them?
No, I didn't. I just went to school there. I played at West Valley and then went on to move on to there. Had some other opportunities, I think, to go play at some other schools. One of the reasons I got into coaching is my brother, who's 10 years younger than I am. We had some family issues on my mom's side, and I kind of stepped back and said, hey, I need to step in and maybe help raise him a little bit. So he was really into baseball, and just through that time of it, I got a chance to coach him, and I kind of looked at it and I said, wow, I like coaching, maybe there's something here, and you just kind of find your path that way.
Oh, okay. What does it take to actually become a champion?
I mean, there's a lot of ways to define it. I think not just winning a championship, it doesn't necessarily mean you're a champion. I mean, I think getting up day in and day out, getting knocked down and getting back up, finding the adversity. I use my Anza team this past season. They didn't win the championship, but they're champions in my mind. I mean, they were 3-32 the year before. Kind of the laughing stock. We had a lot of guys that stuck it out, that were returners that could have easily left, and they grinded. And in my opinion, those are champions. That are guys that are saying, listen, I could go to greener pastures, but we're going to put faith in this program here and see it right and help rectify it and be the start of something. So I think it's about attitude. I mean, you win, lose, or draw, sometimes it's out of your control, but if you're great at everything that's in your control and you're diligent about saying, I'm not going to take one day off of this, then you're a champion in my mind.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. You have to just be there day in, day out, and grind it out. Even days where you don't want to play, or you should just kind of work it out a little bit, and I think communication is also important, because you don't want to get hurt out there either.
Well, we tell our guys all the time, you're only as good as your C game. We know everything's great when you have your A game, but how can you still affect the game or practice that day with your C stuff? And that's, like we talk about, guys that get a chance to play professionally and get to play in college, those guys don't have their A game all the time. They're playing 165 games. They may have their A game if they're lucky, 100 of them. But the guys that are able to take their B, C, maybe that D game that they have every once in a while and still find a way to contribute, that's when you get an opportunity to play for a living.
Well, they play 165 games?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of games.
In the big leagues. Oh yeah, a lot of games. I think minor leagues, AAA is like 120 or something like that.
Oh, I see.
Oh yeah, and that's not including spring training either. So yeah, I'd say 2/3 of the year they're on the baseball field, and that's why they get paid so well.
Mm-hmm. I would say, we're running out of time, so I would like to thank you for. I would like to thank you, Eric, for coming down to the station and getting out the interview.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So thank you for watching the Anza Sports Show, and y'all have a great day.
Thank you.
All right.